of mercy and judgment. Unto thee, O I am that I am, I will sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within mine house, within a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. A forward heart shall depart from me, and I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandered his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will I not suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh perfect, in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within mine house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will destroy all the wicked of the land, that I might cut off all wicked doers from the city of the I am. Psalms 101. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, 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 yes. All praises, all praises, all praises. Yes, it is the day. It is the day. Oh, hallelujah. From the setting of the sun to the setting of the sun. It is the day. Those of you who understand what I'm saying. Yes, it is the day that God had made. And we all rejoice in him, and we give him the glory and the praise. Yes, for he teaches our hands to war. He teaches our hands to prosper. He teaches our hearts to understand and know him, and he teaches our mind to weigh the difference. And we glorify him in all things. Yes, even him whom we call in different languages, Tata and Zambi, Sanini Nanini, Yahweh, Yahuwah. Yes, we even call him Heya. Ya Allah. Yes, we do. Because, yes, he is the power, even the God, the creator of all time and space. We do not know how it is. Many people cannot fathom, and their brains just get so muddled and bamboozled that they try to say who created God, which is really a foolish way of even saying it. There is something. This is what we call God. He was here since the beginning. He don't need a female, no. Because God is not a man, he's a spirit. Because we call him, it's because of the more of the masculinity that God is. Even though he deals with the facts, he deals with those things that are sound. His judgment is sound. He don't go by what he feels. This is a feminine way we talk about. The feelings, the emotional. God doesn't get emotional about you. God is a God of law. Yes, he is. He's a law, even this main God, this creator, this spirit, this entity that all time and space consist of and matter. Yes, you just don't understand. See, who can know God by trying to figure him out? It blows your mind to even think about how did it start? I am that I am. Yes, glory to the Most High. I am that I am. You just sit back and think about creation. You think about a lot of things. He don't need Mary to create him somebody that's going to do better than he is. No, he don't need that. That was made up. That whole Easter's mess is made up. If he desires you, it's because you have a desire for him. This entity that created all matter and space, even created beings that behold his face for eternity. And all they cry is praise and adoration for him. Who are you to judge God? Laugh at God. Who are you? Nothing. He says, for the nation of the world are nothing. They're less than a drop in the bucket. They're just nothing. Not even a teardrop are you. But hey, it means a whole lot when you have adoration and praise, and that your praise steadily go up to God. It doesn't matter what you pray about. It matters that you understand and know God to the point where you praise the Most High and give Him the glory and all your adoration. And that you're always trying to get something new about Him, something new and fresh. Something that would cause you to, just even have more praise when you watch the news, have more praise when you see things are happening to the enemy, that God is moving them out the way, those who decided they want to walk the way of the Satans. Yes, it causes you to just give God the praise. When things come your way and there's adversity and God delivers you, yes, and you see God in all of it, you give God the praise. For the wicked cannot see God. They think they've done everything by their own hand. Foolish are they? Yes, they are. But yet, we're in the book of 2 Kings. 2 Kings, yes, 2 Kings. Yes, it's a beautiful history. We have to realize this is history. This is telling how God dealt with people that either obeyed His law, the law that He'd given to men. The law is in your heart already. I'm going to tell you that now. It's in your heart. Most all of us know we even know the God because it was taught. God don't need to be taught to every nation, kindred, and people. He's already there. Jesus has to be doing that. You have to take your Jesus, your idol Jesus somewhere. I don't know, man. Anything tangible is idol, period. That you worship. Yes, if you worship, even if you worship the cherubim that sit on top of the ark, that's still idol. That's just symbolic. God gives nothing to be worshipped. That His mercy is above the law. That's what He's saying. My mercy toward you is above the law. That's all He's saying. But my face is hidden from you until you cannot see His face. That's why their wings cover each other. You cannot see His face. It's just symbolic. The whole thing is symbolic, but God is a spirit. Even Moses did not see God. All he said he saw the back parts. It don't mean he saw his buttocks. He saw God had reduced Himself. God is more of a shapeshifter than even animals, than angels, or you call angels, but they're all spirits. Whether they're spirits that have rebelled or spirits, and He uses them to try mankind, to see who is faithful, who will seek Him. No man is born wicked. No man is born wicked. Because even the psalmist said, I learned, whether you learn sin from a baby, to lie to your parents, to cry and be angry is not wicked. No. To pick up a thing and hide it, but you taught right and say, you tell your child, don't do that no more. Once they understand, it's not 11 years old, this is when they get to understand. And then when they sneak and try to do it, they understood. Even a dog will do things and he will understand it. You tell him not to do something, he will understand, but he still walks in his nature. There is nobody wicked from the womb. I don't know where they get that from. There's no one wicked from the womb. No. We all learn wickedness. We learn sin. Sin is toward wickedness. And if you have read that Psalms where he talks about the wicked is wicked from their birth, this is just how that psalmist felt. Many times your praise, it might not be totally correct, but this is just what you feel at that time. Yes, there's nobody wicked from the womb. Now, the wickedness, if God see a wickedness, He's seen that you accepted the wickedness of your surroundings. That's where the wickedness comes from. The wickedness of your father or your mother, the wickedness of your friends, and you decided you want to get a hold of that. And how did they learn wickedness? The same way. They made a choice. No, you're not just drawn to wickedness. And God sees that, and he knows what will influence. Even before you're even born, he knows what would influence you. Who has sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. Yes. Now we're in the book of 2 Kings chapter 23, and we're still talking about King Josiah. Yes. And we're going to start with verse 1. And the king sent and gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem, and the king went up into the house of the I Am, and all the men of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets and all the people, both small and great, which he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the I Am. And the king stood by the pillar and made a covenant. He made an agreement, yes, before the I Am to walk after, just like his ancestor did in the book of Exodus chapter 20. And to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all their heart and with all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written within this book. And all the people stood to that covenant. All that the I Am said, that will we do. Yes, is what they're saying. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priest of the second order, to keep the keepers of the door, and to bring forth out of the temple of the high. Now this is what he means. I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the I Am. He's talking about the temple. He's not talking about no church. Come on here. Not talking about no church. A den of devils. He's talking about the temple which housed the Ark of the Covenant, which the smoke descended up into heaven, or should I say the sky, in which the smoke or the clouds covered it, and even the flame by night, holy with the presence of the Most High, that no man could enter into it. This is what he's talking about. He's not talking about that some old church. They got it everywhere. It's a true saying. If you see a lot of churches somewhere, there's high crime. It's high crime because they're stealing all the poor people's money. That's what it is. That's what I say. But either way, nevertheless, let us continue. And he says now in verse 4, and the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest and the priests of the second order and the keepers of the door to bring forth out of the temple of the I Am all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the grove, and for all the host of heaven. See, they've turned the house of the Most High into a den of devils. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the field of Kidron, and carried ashes of them unto Bethel. And he put down the idolatrous priests from whom the king of Judah had ordained, and burned incense in the high places in the city of Judah, in the place round about Jerusalem. Them also that burn incense unto Baal, to the sun worship, to the moon worship. All these things God created. If you see it and worship it, you got a problem. Because no man has seen God at any time. No. To the moon and to the planets and to all the host of heavens. This is a translation. Understand, this is a translation. What did he mean by that? You can go to these translator things and try to figure it out. You might be right, but it might not be right. Because you got to realize English is a borrowed language. And it's kind of difficult to try to take something of a language. Some things cannot even be translated. That's in this Bible that they're just guessing. And he brought out the grove from the house of the I Am without Jerusalem into the brook of Kidron, and burned it in at the brook of Kidron, and stamped it into small powder, and cast the powder thereof upon the grave of the children of the people. Why did he do this? He broke down the houses of the Sodomites. Yes, the Sodomites were still living. They burnt the town, but not everybody lived where it was burnt up. Now, if he burnt down the houses of the Sodomites, you have to realize the Sodomites, Jerusalem is at the edge, as I always often try to say, is at the southern point of the Dead Sea. Sodom is at the southern point of the Dead Sea. If you go to the east, you're going to find southeast. If you go to the east, you're going to find out that there's the caves where Lot lived. And then across from that, you got Tel-Ad. That's the real Jerusalem. It's desolate. They tried to cover it. But yet the fake ones took the north and trying to bamboozle you into thinking that it's up there. Then you got the rest of them who think it's in Africa and America and all that or whatever. But either way. And he brought the grove from the house of the I Am in verse 6 without Jerusalem unto the brook of Kidron and burned it at the brook of Kidron. He stamped it to powder. Now verse 7. And he brake down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of the I Am, where the women wove hangings for the grove. You see, some of these hangings, you wonder, they look like flags or banners. Did they have that? Let's research that. What was the hangings for the grove? What did they look like? And he brought forth all the priests out of the city of Judah, and defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense from Geba to Beersheba. You know, these Levitical priests, some Levitical priests, they were not Levitical priests. It's just they made up that stuff, just like they have priests today, made up. The Levitical priests are a lineage dedicated to the service of the Most High. You just can't appoint anybody to Levitical priest or a priest. Yeah, and after that of whether you do the New Testament, you still blaspheme. Or the Old. God has to do that and point it out. You will know by the signs and wonders that God does with them. Now, he says now, he brought all the priests of the cities of Judah and defiled the high places where the priests burnt incense from Geba to Beersheba, and break down the high places of the gates that were in the entering of the gate of Oshé, or Joshua. Well, they say Joshua, but it's Oshé. It's just the way they want to pronounce it. The governor of the city, which were on a man's left hand at the gate of the city. Nevertheless, the priests of the high places came not up to the altar of the I Am, but they did eat that of the unleavened bread among their brethren. And he defiled Topheth, which is in the valley of the children of Hinnom, and no man might make his son or daughter pass through the fire of Molech. Unleavened bread. Flour, water, butter, oil, whatever you want to put in it, and then bake it. It's going to be unleavened bread. It's going to be hard as I don't know what, but it's bread. Excuse me. And he took away, see, you have to realize this son and daughter to pass through the fire. Fire walkers and all that. They try to get you to make you think it's amazing. No, it's idol worship. It's demon worship. And he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the son. You know, to the son. You can't even get 5 feet, yet alone 1,000 miles in front of the sun without burning up. There's no way. And the altars that were upon the top of the upper chamber of Ahaz, the king of Judah, had made, and the altars which Manasseh had made in 2 courts of the house of the I Am, did the king beat down and break them down from thence, and cast the dust of them into the brook of Kidron. And 13, the high places were before Jerusalem were on the right hand of the mount of corruption. Then Solomon the king of Israel had built it for Ashtaroth. Now you have to realize Solomon was one who did that which to please he was a woman pleaser. Yes, he was. To please his women. And they were pagans. As well as he have turned to pagans in his pleasing of them. We don't know what God's judgment was for Solomon, but he did try to please women. In other words, a simp. Now, of the Zidonians for the Shemosh, and abomination of the Moabites, and for Milcom, and abomination of the children of Ammon, did the king defile. You know, he just messed them up, broke them down, whatever he did to them. And he brake in pieces the images and cut down the groves and filled their places with the bones of men. Moreover, in other words, he was zealous toward God. In that he knew you, that first commandment, you have no other gods before me, have no other gods before me, have no other gods before me. Nothing. Moreover, the altar that was at Bethel, the high place which Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel to sin, had made both that altar and the high place, and he brake down and burned the high place and stamped it to powder and burned the grove. And as Josiah turned himself, he spied sepulchres that were in the mount, and sent to the and took the bones out of the sepulchre and burned them upon the altar and polluted it. He turned himself and spoused sepulchre that were in the mount. He took and sent the bones out of the sepulchre and burned them upon the altar and polluted according to the word of the I am, which the man of God proclaimed, who proclaimed these words. Then he said, what title is that I see? Is that I see? Then the men of the city told him, it is the sepulchre of the man of God which came from Judah, and proclaimed these things that thou hast done against the altar of Bethel. And he said, let him alone. Let no man move his bones, let his bones alone, and with the bones of the prophet that came out of Samaria, and all the houses also of the high places were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had made to provoke the I am to anger. Josiah took away and did to them according to all the acts that he had done in Bethel. And he slew all the priests of the high places that were there upon the altars, and burned the men's bones upon them, and returned to Jerusalem. And the king commanded all the people, saying, keep the Passover unto your God. Why does he want you to keep that Passover? Oh, it was a long time ago. Was it? Why does he want you to keep the Passover? It has nothing to do with Isis. It has a lot to do when God comes with thousands of his anointed. According to the book of Enoch, they copied it, they mocked it or whatever in the New Testament. Ain't no Isis coming. It's gonna be God. He will select himself an image that he always had. But God feels all things. Mystery to you, isn't it? How can God do that? You limit God when you say that. Now, let's get to the point. And he slew all the priests. He says now, and surely was not holding such a Passover from the days of the judges. We stopped somewhere. I get to talking and I just, he took away the court. Okay, he slew all the priests of the high places that were upon the altar, verse 20. And there men's bones upon them, and returned to Jerusalem. And the king commanded all the people, saying, keep the Passover unto the I am. This is where I was. And it is written in the book of this covenant. The book of the law, the book of this covenant. Where is it? We have an historical account of what was said in the book of the covenant, but we do not have the book of the covenant. Only way you're going to get it is you have to do yourself and copy every law, every statute, every commandment he has said in the historical account. Because that's all this Bible really is, an historical account of what God says. It's an historical account. It's not the actual book of the law. All we have is an historical account. That's all they all have is an historical account. Where is the book of the law? Apparently that book came from over the flood too. Yes, it did. It was reissued to Moses to reiterate to the children of Israel that they might obey it and be an example unto the world as to how we should worship God, and a standard on how we should treat each other. It's a standard. Surely, the king commanded all the people, saying, keep the Passover. 22, and there was not holding such a Passover from the days of the judges that judged Israel, nor in all the days of the king of Israel, nor the king of Judah, nor no king that ever reigned in Israel ever had a Passover like this. But in the 18th day of the year of King Josiah, wherein this Passover was holden to the I am in Jerusalem, moreover, the workers with familiar spirits and the wizards and the images and idols and all the abominations that were spied in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem did Josiah put away. In other words, your monthly prognosticators, your horoscope readers, and your soothsayers, and your mediums, and your witches and warlocks, and your tarot card readers killed them. Josiah took them away because they were in worship of devils. Who teaches you in the night about the occult? Who teaches you in your dreams and your imagination about the occults? Spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. This is what happens according to Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Abraham knew this, or Abram knew this. Yes, he put him away that he might perform the words of the law which were written in the books. See, you forget about the law. The law was designed that he gave Israel, or the children of Jacob, in the land the power to execute judgment upon its people that they might not sin. That's what he did. God didn't have to judge them. He shouldn't have to judge you now. The law should have stood. But now God has to judge the world. God has to judge people. Because we have gone to the liberals. We have gone to the politicians. We have gone to the world to judge us according to how they feel it should be. Some say, if you are not of the color I am, this law does not apply to you. If you are not the color law I am, this law applies to you. My people have no right. They can get away with this, but you can't. A traffic stop, a ticket. Oh, you the wrong color. No, we got to call 3 and 4 squad cars. Come on, 0055. Shh, come on here. This is what they would say. This is the hatred. The test they have in their hearts. They have murdered. They have murder for something they have no foundation of hating in their hearts. And they try their best to do it and get away with it. So they may be justified in their laws. And the judges, the lawyers, and everybody works along with them. Let us continue. Oh, so he put to death all these people. He put them away. That's what he means. That he might perform the words of the law. In other words, God says, you do it, Israel. This is one thing. This was the law. You cannot have any God before. See, this is our sin today. Having any God. Man, woman, child, your Isis, the prophets were never worshipped before God. So Josiah, when he found him, he put him away. And then it turns back when Christians found you, Israel. They enslaved you, re-educated you, and caused you to do those things that God forbids, even worshiping of man. But they gave you a twist to it. Oh, he done miracles. Yeah, he ascended into heaven and all these other things. I thought the same thing. But it's going to be a while before God open your eyes to see this. And this is where that small remnant is going to see this. And this is where God is going to choose them out of all peoples of the earth and destroy this earth and our systems with this people. You got this confusion going on with this black Isis and all this. That's just a smoke screen. It don't matter. He never existed. It's still idolatry, regardless. This is why your preachers take your money and everything else, and you're sickly and everything else, and churches being burnt up and stuff. God don't like it. But he tried to preserve it, that somebody out of that might see and come and know that this God never changes. His law still stands to this day. And when the way of God comes, what is he going to do? God is going to even cause you to be as the angels. See, the angels will execute whatever God says, even to the point of deleting you. They will delete you. Yes, they will. God don't have to do, that's why he created them. God, in other words, he doesn't think, it just pops in God's mind and it's done. Period. It pops, it just comes up and it's done. This is the harmony of heaven. And when you get to that prophet status, you have gotten to the point where you love God so much. To the point where just heaven just thinks. Spirit's delivered to your spirit, which delivered to your brain, which you try to convey it to the people. Sometimes your body feels a rejoicing and everything else. You don't get it. You don't get it, do you? But either way, he put him away. And he said that he might perform the words of the law which was written in the book of Hilkiah the priest. In other words, he didn't know. See, right now you're blinded by half a law. Adultery, what is that in your heart? Nothing. You can get rid of that quick. Don't mean you committed it. But some will go as far and say, oh, you sin. No, sin is in your heart. You haven't done it. It's not unto death. Same thing with lying or any other sin that you've done. But the fact is to acknowledge it in your heart. You acknowledge God in all your ways. Why is this sin trying to penetrate me? Why this sin is trying to get it? This is against your law. This is why we so much have to learn the law of the Most High. This is what I provoke God's people to do. Learn the law. All we have is the historical giving of the law, what it said from the historical account. But the fact is, that's enough for right now. God knows that. Yes, God knows that. Now let us continue. Verse 25. And like unto him, there was no king before him that turned to the I am with all his heart and with all his soul and with all his might, according to the law of Moses. It's not really the law of Moses. That's the translator's thing. The law given to Moses. It's not the law of Moses. It's the law given to Moses. This is translator junk. Neither after him arose any like him. The law is not of Moses. Moses did not make the law. No, he didn't. This is a word play. Notwithstanding, the I am turned not from the fierceness of his great wrath, wherewith his anger was kindled against Judah, because of all the provocations of Manasseh that had provoked him with all. Now, Manasseh was before Josiah. And he was evil. He invoked every demon, every spirit from Egypt all the way into the Canaanitish people. Now these were Hamites, from the bloodline of Hamites. They knew the law. They know the God. Yes, they do. That's why God don't need to be preached in all the earth. He's just waiting. And when God's cup is full, according to the prophet, he's going to pour it out. It's not full enough yet. He's going to make sure you are without excuse. Yes, he is. And the I am said, I removed Judah out of my sight. Because they're so corrupt, doing everything that seems right unto them. I feel, this feels right. Sensual, devilish. Yes. And I will cast off this city, Jerusalem, which I have chosen, and the house which I said my name shall be. Then Jesus said, oh, no stone shall be upon the earth. This is what God is saying this here too. Right here. But he's going to take it further. But there's no stone. There's some stones still on top of another in that city. In Tel Aviv. Yes, it is. Not totally built up, but there's some stones still standing. As far as Jerusalem, you know, there were stones there. People were still there. It wasn't desolate. He said, and which I have chosen, and the house which I said my name shall be. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of Kings of Judah? And in his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, Pharaoh Necho, that's in your history books, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. In other words, he had to cross over northeast. He had to cross over the Dead Sea, or through the land over the Nile River, in through the land of Israel, to get to the Euphrates. And the king Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo. So King Josiah caught the king of Egypt before he could reach the Euphrates. And he went against him and slew him at Megiddo. And when he had seen him, and his servants carried him in a chariot dead from Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land took Jehoash, the son of Josiah, and anointed him king in his father's stead. So Josiah got killed by the king of Egypt. So Jehoash was 23 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. That was her father. See, it's going to tell you who their father was now. And he did that which was evil. See, it come after. You got these kings in Africa. You got good kings, good presidents in Africa. But as soon as they're gone, the people are going to turn back, because people are so easily swayed. Not everybody is a leader. Not everybody is a visionary of good. And not everybody has the heart to do that which is mighty, even if it costs their life. No. And 3 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 3 months. And 32, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the I Am, according to all his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Nicole put him in bands in Ribnah in the land of Hamath, and that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and that he put the land to a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. This is a lot of money. And Pharaoh Nicole made Eliakim, son of Josiah, king in the room of Josiah, his father, and turned his name to Jehoiakim. So his name was Eliakim, but the Pharaoh made him Jehoiakim, and took Jehoash, which was Josiah's son, away. And he came to Egypt, and he died there. And Jehoiakim gave silver and gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land and gave the money according to the commandment of the Pharaoh. And he exacted the silver and gold of the people of the land of everyone according to his taxation, to give it unto Pharaoh the coat. Now the same thing is happening even in DRC, as we see. There's so much ambiguity going there. And one guy came out with a good thing. He said that the people that you say that the people of a certain people are crying to take over the land. No, he's talking about M23. He said M23 are really they're rebels because they're going against the government of DRC. The people were cheering at M23 coming through the land. Now, this is another twist to it. Now you have the president of DRC trying to call the U.S. in to come and battle M23, and he's going to give them unlimited resources, which is foolish. Because once you put these people in, it's going to be hell and high water trying to get them out. When a good leader comes, maybe the coup might happen to get that leader out of there. But the fact is, this is his take on what is happening. And the taxes he shall put upon the people, the labor that they have to do while their soldiers carry all the gold, Coltrane, and everything out of the country. Now they just sit somebody up and have their soldiers guarded, and here they is taking this, whatever, la-di-da, this is ours, we're protecting you, la-di-da, and people study dying. Because one thing history has shown, they never keep their word. Always lying. Something has to happen quickly if this is true. Now, the money according to the commandment of Pharaoh, he exacted silver and gold of the people. And verse 36, and Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zebudah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Runma. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the I Am, according to all that his fathers have done. in that it's always evil coming. And that goes with the saying, when the wicked are in power, the people howl. This is what's happening in DRC. And look at the contrast between the Sahel. But when a righteous leader arrives, the people rejoice. That's the difference. The people, although they wouldn't put up a fight, but if they got a leader that's going to put up a fight and motivate them to put up a fight, they're going to fight. But when they got a leader that say don't fight, they're going to run. And many of them delete it. This is the way, they know this. These think tanks, they know this. They know how to manipulate these countries. And with that, if we keep the commandments, statutes, and ordinances and enforce them in our own homes, according to the commandment of the Most High, we will have peace.
Walk with me.